Hey guys, it's Lori from the Watchman's Midnight Hour. And this is my tank. There's a little flower. What do you think of the flower? With all the, I'm sorry that the background, I don't have the background cover. But look at those cute little fishies. Oh, my little sucker guy. He's sucking on the snail, my little Nerite snail. I finally got rid of the little bad assassin snails. They were doing a really bad job and were eating on my night snail. But you know, those night snails are pretty smart. They know how to get out of danger, get out of dodge. Hey, let's talk about that. I want to talk about getting out of dodge, right? Making sure you're ready to go in the rapture. Because we all know that all the signs are here. We all know that it's any day now. And what's interesting is the Lord reminded me that, hey, there's my cat in the background. How funny. We all know that the Lord reminded me of that vision when I was walking into the dining room, and people have said, hey, you got to pay attention. You're walking into the dining room, when he answered. And he said, you know, right, it was Jesus in a group of people that were in a circle, a small room, and I was next to Jesus. And Jesus was stating, all the signs are here. I am coming any day now. And then I, with glee, looked up at Jesus and said, even as soon as next weekend. And that next weekend was the Feast of Trumpets. And then all of a sudden, after the Lord reminded me of this vision, tons of believers like never before began to get the same understanding. And you know what hit me? Do you remember 2019, 7/17? The Lord had me look at the clock, and I saw 7/17. And he said, pay attention. And then all of a sudden, believers all over the internet were getting 7/17. And the Lord gave me understanding the betrothal, the Jewish wedding. And he asked me, do I know what happens during this? And honestly, I didn't look enough, guys. Yeah, I read the article, right, about the Jewish wedding versus Jesus coming, but I didn't pay much attention. I knew it had to do with the end, but I still didn't see it till now. How, you know, like I said, in June and going into July, somewhere around in there, all I could see was 7/17. I'd never seen 7/17 like that, not even once since 2019. Okay? And so all of a sudden I'm getting flooded with 7/17. The Lord was saying the betrothal, the betrothal, the betrothal. You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, a lot of people said when July hit, it was, the water broke. I mean, it's really interesting correlation with what all happened, and my heart breaks with the devastation that came. I pray that many of these people know the Lord and they're home with Christ, you know, but it's really a difficult thing. What's happened since July, it's almost like everything just hit the fan, including the ants on me. And then all of a sudden, the Lord reminds me of this powerful vision, right? All the signs are here. I am coming any day now. We were all starting to notice in July that everything was peaking, not just geological issues, you know, not just the weather, not just political, not just the people. I mean, the kind of people coming against our nation now in hordes, it's just unbelievable. You know, and then now we're at this call where everyone's saying any day now, even as soon as the Feast of Trumpets. And they're all getting, and many of them are getting great discernment that, I mean, you got to remember that the Feast of Trumpets actually starts the evening of the 22nd and it goes into the 24th. So you really got a period of almost 3 days that's going on there. So, you know, the Lord said even as soon as the Feast of Trumpets was the clarity of it. So I believe we can hold to that right now. I believe there is a correlation of this year and what Tom Horn said. It's possible. I mean, we don't know how. I mean, it's possible he could take us out around the Feast of Trumpets, right? And the Feast of Trumpets may not be fully fulfilled. Maybe that's why we come back at the end, and it's the feast. And actually, the fulfillment is us coming and Jesus coming to fully in the war, right? With all of us on horseback. You know, we're taken out Feast of Trumpets, and then we come back on Feast of Trumpets, and actually, maybe it's the Feast of Tabernacles. That's when the tribulation begins. It's possible, guys. You know, a lot of believers have said that there's a window gap between the rapture and then the start of the tribulation. So it's possible we leave about up to even as soon as the Feast of Trumpets. Correct, guys? Let's leave it that way. as soon as the Feast of Trumpets, we're out of here. And then it's not really that many days before the Feast of Tabernacle begins. So, that could happen. And I'm holding to it, guys. The call's out. And so we know the bride, now the call even right now is the bride, get ready. Are you ready? Bride, make sure you're the salt of the earth. Make sure you're using your talents. Make sure you're dressed and ready. Make sure, you're spending time with Jesus, letting him come in and sup with you and know him. Every parable practically to me is saying, do you know him? Do you know him? Knowing him isn't just believing that he died on the cross. Knowing him is getting before his face, having him refine you, talking to him, praying, spending time with him, making him more important than any idol you have. Can you say that your love exceeds any other love on the earth? And if you're not looking for the rapture, I was listening to Maurice Sklar, and he said the Lord said he doesn't have any obligation to take you. So in this situation, he has no obligation to take us off the earth. Are you watching and looking and excited about his return? Then you're probably going to be removed. All right. God bless you all. He also said he's coming for those who love him. That's what he told Maurice Sklar. So make sure you love him like Enoch loved him. Take care. God bless. Bye.